Alright, so this just happened. So if you're new here, this is Anthony, and I always like to ask, consider hitting the like and subscribe button to get this channel off the ground, if you find this of any value. Okay, so if you checked out my first video on this topic, it was about a week ago when Elon Musk disclosed that he purchased about 9.2% of Twitter. And if you did watch that video, at the end I mentioned that things would be pretty interesting in the days following. So after his initial purchase, Elon Musk started going on Twitter, somewhat criticizing the Twitter platform, and also tweeting about ways that they can make things a little bit better. And shortly after that, the current CEO of Twitter, Parag, invited Elon Musk to become a member of the board. And while we don't know the full details of the disclosure, we do know that Elon Musk did decline his invitation to become a member of the board, with a lot of people speculating that there was a lot more to this board invitation than meets the eye. Such as a lot of those tweets that Elon Musk made criticizing Twitter has since been deleted. And also looking at the clause that stated that if Elon Musk were to join the board, he would only be able to buy shares up to about 15%. Meaning that he was limited in the amount of shares that he would be able to buy of the company. So what happened after all of that transpired? As of this morning, Elon Musk disclosed that he made an offer to buy Twitter outright completely. He said that he would purchase Twitter at $54.20 a share. I wonder why he would choose $54.20. But seriously, this news does have a lot of people worried about Twitter, and by extension, freedom of speech as a whole. And then you have some other people that are worried that this is too much of a distraction for Elon and that it's going to hinder the performance of Tesla going forward. And shareholders are exceptionally worried that Elon's going to have to sell some more Tesla stock to be able to purchase Twitter, thus putting more downward pressure on Tesla's share price. Because people remember months ago when Elon Musk was selling Tesla shares to cover his stock options exercising. And if you were a shareholder at that time, you knew that Tesla stock had a bumpy ride, coming down from a high of $1,200 all the way to about a low of around $750. But we also have to remember that the selling of those shares were in small chunks over the course of a few months. That put so much downward pressure on Tesla stock that pretty much any good news that came out fell to the wayside. So just to be clear, Elon Musk does have a few options if he is going to go through the purchasing of Twitter. And while this decision might have a small impact on Tesla in the short term, we always have to remember that we have to think very long term with Tesla stock. Because if you're happy with Tesla the business, there's no need to make decisions based on short-term volatility. Just look at one of the largest shareholders in Super Bowl, Ron Barron, and what he had to say about this.
For SpaceX, you could see political debates emerging around potentially, again, Twitter becomes a bit of a bank shot, but I think there are some investors who've been thinking about this issue.
I think it's meaningless. Look, one of my friends is one of the best traders alive. And he calls me a month ago, and he says, Ron, tell me about where does Elon get his nickel from, for batteries, and how much does he pay for it? And is it spot prices or long-term contracts? And so I give him a little bit of information. I say, but David, you're missing the point. This is a company that's doing 1.2 million or 1.5 million cars this year, and is going to do 20 million cars a year in 10 years. And they're going to have autonomous driving, which Musk thinks is the biggest innovation, value creation that's ever taken place in the world. Be worth over $1 trillion alone, that alone. And they're going to be able to sell, if they sell, 20 million cars at $50,000, that's $1 trillion. They're making 30% profit margins. The industry's making 7 or 8%. The industry has union issues. So I think that when you focus on a issue, it's not relevant to how large a company is going to become. Oh my God, and this company's valued for $1 trillion now. Why is it not going to be worth, it's certainly $2 trillion, but why is it not going to be worth $3 trillion or $4 trillion or $5 trillion in 10 or 15 years? So when you're focusing on something that's meaningless and will never have any impact on anything, and it just takes away from looking at the big picture.
First thing I want to mention is Elon Musk himself also said that he may not even be able to buy Twitter. This might mean that he doesn't want to sell Tesla stock, or maybe just some underlying information that we don't know of yet. And secondly, if Elon Musk were to sell enough Tesla stock to cover the purchase of Twitter, it would be about $40 billion, which would only dilute Tesla's share price by a whopping 4%. And lastly, the easiest thing that Elon could do would be to just borrow money against his Tesla shares on margin. As his shares are worth about $173 billion, he would just have to take out a loan of about $30 billion to complete the acquisition. So what do I think will happen? And while Elon Musk was the first to offer, we do get some insights with the Twitter team to see that they are at least open to someone purchasing the platform. And that does put a little bit of pressure and opens a lot of doors to other institutions that would be open to buying Twitter as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see other institutions and companies putting their own bid up to buy Twitter, effectively having a bidding war. So again, this should be an interesting week ahead of us. And what does this mean for Tesla stock? So of course, a lot of us know by now that trying to time the market usually ends with us selling when we are scared, only to FOMO back in at a higher price, missing out on all the gains in between. Just remember, you are not Meet Kevin. You cannot time the market. But honestly, you just have to ask yourself one question. Does this news actually affect Tesla the business, the fundamentals that Tesla runs on? So I'll just tell you, the short answer is, it doesn't. Quarter after quarter, Tesla has been providing record deliveries, record gross margins on their vehicles, and I'm sure they will continue this pace for years to come. So for me, I'm not selling a single share. This does not change the fundamentals or my belief in the company. But I'm definitely going to be grabbing my popcorn and sitting on the sidelines because this is going to be an interesting week. And always remember, not financial advice. So let me know what you guys' plans are for Twitter or even Tesla stock. Are you buying? Are you holding? Are you selling? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.